My name is Edward Radbill. I was 92 in January the 1st. I was 92 years of age. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. The name Roman Haas was introduced to me actually by reason of the fact that our aircraft was in fact had plexiglass component parts on them. The turrets, the side, the bottom gunner turrets. An integral part is important as much as the engines, or the fact that we had the sight and use of plexiglass. I was the flight engineer. I was in charge of the aircraft. I was attached to the Middle East theater of operation, the African wing. I remember up in North Africa, we had an attempted sabotage when we used to fly from Natal, Brazil to Ascension Island, which was 12 hours flight. We didn't have an electronic gauge to indicate the quantity of fuel. And we had two tubes like they use in coffee urns. They must have been made out of plexiglass to withstand vibration. And I noticed that these coffee tube gauges were the only indication we had as to the quantity of fuel. We were 2 hours of flight out of Natal, Brazil, when I noticed the fuel in one of these tubes, which I believe was plexiglass tubes, was about, I guess, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, whereas the other one showed a great quantity of fuel that was being utilized, and I didn't know where it was at, and I checked through the fuselage and couldn't find no leaks. So I think I climbed up on a box or something out of the ball turret, the plexiglass ball turret on top of the plane, and this is at night, and my flashlight was shining on the right wing where the filler was. And I noticed that the flashlight picked up a spritz of fuel being sucked out of that area where the filler tank was. So evidently, as I later found out, that someone tried to sabotage the plane there. But on the filler tank, you would take the cap off, screw that off. Well, someone had turned that gasket in half and then put the cap on. So that filler tank is located at the point of the wing where it slopes down and creates a drop of pressure, which is partially why the pressure underneath lifts the wing up. But at the same time, it was sucking out all my fuel and spritzing it over the Atlantic. So I informed the pilot that I would advise going back to Natal, Brazil, or else we'd make a perfect landing in the middle of the ocean somewhere before we got to Ascension Island. So that, I felt like the mere fact that those tubes were there and gave me an indication of the problem and the ability to see out of that upper ball turret there, that in essence may have saved my life and the crew's life by just having that knowledge and ability to utilize these two devices there. Well, Roman Haas was synonymous with plexiglass, and plexiglass was synonymous with aircraft. So it goes hand in hand with the fact that my respect and love for that which supported the whole war effort, which could have turned out to be different if it weren't for plexiglass and what it played in the part of the war.